Welcome to our channel English Time with me.
Hello, welcome back, my dear viewers. Today I am going to discuss with you letter writing. How to write a letter for class 10th, 11th, 12th, even the students of class 9th can also take benefit from this video. Okay, we will discuss first the format of letter writing, especially a formal letter, how to write a formal letter, and in that particular case we will discuss how to write a letter to your editor, how a letter to editor is written in English. First we will discuss the format of this particular letter. At the very first you have to write the sender's address. The sender's address. Okay, the sender's address. The one who is writing the letter, the one who is writing the letter, who is who is about to send the letter, you have to write the sender's address first. Now suppose if you are going to write a letter to somebody, you have to write your address first here. And now suppose this is the page of your notebook and you have to write the sender's address at the top left side of your page. There is you might have heard or you might have gone through the cases where you find the address written on the right side of the page, but there is no grammatical issue in that particular case. But today's practice is what the address is written on the left side of your page. There is nothing more than that. Okay, it is because the English script is written from the left side, and when you have left side vacant here, when the whole left side is blank, the left side of your page is blank, then why to write on the right side? So that's why nowadays sender's address is written on the top of your page, left side of your page, and not on the right side of the page. And even if you write on the right side of the page, that will not be any grammatically incorrect. There is no case, there is no issue with that. But today's practice is this. And why is this practice on a go today? Because English script is written from the left side, and when you have the space on the left side of the page, why to write on the right side? Okay, the sender's address is written here, and this is the first thing you will write on your page when you're going to write a letter. So you have to write your own address, means sender's address, the one who is writing the letter. And the address has to be written in 2 or 3 lines. In the first line, you will write house number, sector number, or the name of locality, and then in the second line you can write the name of your district, the name of your city, the name of your town, and in the third line you can write your PIN also, but that is not necessary. These 2 things are necessary. After discussing the format of this particular letter, I will I will show you a sample of a letter, how a letter is written to an editor, and the sample of a letter to editor. But first we will discuss this particular format. Now first, at the first place, you have to write the sender's address. Okay, and then second place, after leaving the gap of 1 line, you have to write the date of writing the letter, the date on which you are writing a letter. The date has to be written on the same left side, and you have to use British format in writing the date. I will discuss while showing you the sample of a letter. We will discuss these things there. Now, and then number 3, you have to write, then after leaving a gap of 1 line, you have to write receiver's address. Receiver's address, to whom you are writing a letter. Now suppose you are writing a letter to Deputy Commissioner. Suppose you are writing a letter to the editor of any newspaper, now, which we are doing today. We are doing today a letter, how a letter to editor is written, editor of newspaper. Okay, now you have to write the editor's name, and if you are writing a letter to Deputy Commissioner, you have to write Deputy Commissioner, his address here, the receiver's address here. Now at third place, you have to write the receiver's address, and the receiver's address again is written in 2 to 3 lines. I will show you what are the things which are written in receiver's address when I will show you sample letter. Then number 3, after leaving a gap of one line, again you have to write subject. Subject should be very brief. Subject has to be very brief and very suggestive. It should suggest the whole content of your letter, what you are going to write or what you want to convey to the receiver. Subject. And then after leaving a gap of one line, you have to write salutation. Salutation is what when you are addressing someone. Suppose if a receiver, whoever the receiver is, and if you're writing a formal letter, you have to address him by writing sir or ma'am. Sir or ma'am. If it is male, you have to write sir. If it is female, you have to write ma'am here. Okay, and then number 6, after salutation, you have to write, you have to deal with the body of the letter. You have to deal with the content. You have to write the content of the letter will be here, as I have written here, body of letter. Body of letter. Now whatever you want to write, you have to write here. Okay, here, this is the body of letter, you have to write here. Now while writing the body of the letter, you have to keep in mind certain things I have written here. Okay, this is not the body of the a letter, which the points which are written here, these are not the body of the letter itself, but these are certain key points which have to be kept in mind while writing body of the letter, while writing the content of the letter. Now what are these things? The first thing is what? Proper introduction. You have to write proper introduction. The beginning should be very proper. Okay, when you are writing letter to editor, you have to you have to start your body, the body of letter, in some particular way. Like you can write through the column of your esteemed newspaper, I want to do this or that, or writing this letter for your esteemed newspaper, or for your newspaper. For whatever you are writing, you can write thereafter. I will show you how to start the body of a letter when I will show you the sample letter. Then number 2, the problem. You have to introduce the problem. You have to mention the problem. You have to state the problem. What is the problem which you are writing in your letter? Number 3, causes. You have to write the causes of that problem. What are the causes of that problem? Okay, and then number 4, suggestions. You have to write the suggestions of your own. You have to suggest certain measures. You have to suggest certain measures how to curb that particular problem which you have stated in your letter. And then number 5, conclusion. There should be conclusion. Conclusion should be in the form of an appeal to the readers. You have to appeal the readers that you have to take care of these things, or you have to have certain things in mind, or you have to have the responsibility of dealing with this particular problem which you have stated here. Then the last thing about the body of letter is what? Request to editor. You have to request to editor certain things. What I will show you in sample letter. Okay, these were the 6 points. And remember, you have to write all these things. You have to write the body of letter in paragraphs. You have to write at least 3 paragraphs, 3 to 4 paragraphs. The content has to be written in 3 to 4 paragraphs. Okay, and you have to write one thing in one paragraph, another thing in another paragraph, another thing in another paragraph. Whenever you want to change the point, when you are changing the sub-content of the content, you have to change the paragraph. Okay, and then after finishing the body, again on the left side of your page, leaving the space of 1 or 2 lines, you have to write the subscription, which you write like yours faithfully. In case of editor, you can write yours faithfully or faithfully yours, or you can also write yours truly. Okay, while you're writing letter to anybody else, any relative, when you're writing personal letters, in that case we write subscription. How do we write subscription? We write yours affectionately. But we are writing an official or a formal letter, you're writing a letter to editor, you have to write yours faithfully or yours truly, and then your name, and you can write your designation here also. Now this was the format of the letter. Now I will show you a sample letter which is written on the basis of this particular format. Okay, now this is the sample. It is a sample letter is written here, a letter to editor. Now, but before that, the question, your question is, this is your question. Okay. Now suppose you are Raj, a resident of 14A Gandhinagar, Jammu. You have read a report about increasing number of domestic violence cases in Jammu. Write a letter to the editor of local newspaper. Sometimes it can be local newspaper, it can be national newspaper or national daily. Local newspaper, to sensitize the people about the grave issue and suggest the measures to control the problem in 120, 150 words. Whatever length is given, whatever word limit is given, you have to write your letter within that limit. Okay, and now this is the sample letter. Now here, as I told you, the first thing which you have to write is what? The sender's address. This is the sender's address. This is your address, the one who is writing the letter. 14A Gandhinagar. Now what is this? This 14A, this is house number and sector number A. Okay, house number 14, sector number A, Gandhinagar. You have to write here the name of the locality. Okay, or the name of a street. Here it is the name of locality, Gandhinagar, Jammu. Then the name of city is written in the next line. Now I wrote here in this sample paper, sample letter, the sender's address is written in 2 lines. You have to write it in 2 lines or 3 lines. Okay, this is the sender's address. Now after leaving a gap, now remember one thing, you don't have to write, or you don't have to use punctuation marks here. You don't have to use comma or full stop. No, because comma, full stops, they have particular use. They have to be used in a sentence. A full stop is to be used after a sentence. A comma is used within a sentence, and this is no sentence here. Okay, you don't have to write, you don't have to use punctuation marks here. Leave it without punctuation marks. Now this was the sender's address. Then after leaving a gap of 1 line, you have to write the date. Second thing is date. Now you have to use the British format. Day, month and year. 5 February 2022. Okay, you can written it in other way. You can write February 5 2022. That is also right. Okay, but it is here what? British format, 5 February 2022. After leaving a gap of 1 line again, at number 3, you have to write the receiver's address. Now your receiver is, who is your receiver? It is the editor of newspaper. Okay, you are writing letter to editor of newspaper, so he is the receiver of your letter. And if you are writing letter to deputy commissioner, if you are writing letter to your principal, the principal of your school, his address will be written here. In short, the receiver's address will be written here. Now you are writing letter to your to an editor. You have to, how do you have to write the receiver's the editor's address here? In the first line, you have to write the editor. Okay. In the second line, now the receiver's address is also to be written in 2 to 3 or 4 lines. Okay. Mostly it is written in 3 lines. Okay. The editor. In the first line, you will write the editor, and in the second line, you have to write the name of newspaper. Here I have written the Excelsior. The Excelsior. It is the name of local newspaper. Okay. The Excelsior. And if in your question, which you're asked, if it is mentioned here that you have to write a letter to the editor of a national daily, then you have to write the name of some national paper like the Hindustan Times, the Hindu, the Times of India. But the local, you have to write the letter to the editor of local newspaper. You have to write the name of local newspaper, and it is the Excelsior. You can write here the Kashmir Times, with the name of such a paper which is local. Okay, and then in the third line, you have to write the name of the place where from that particular paper is published, and it is published from Jammu. You have to write here Jammu. In the third line, the name of place. Okay, Now no punctuation marks here also, no full stop, no comma. Then after leaving a gap of one line again, you have to write subject, colon. Now subject has to be very brief, very suggestive. Now what it is, the question was about domestic violence cases in Jammu, okay, increasing number. Now here how is subject written? Domestic violence in Jammu. This is your subject. Now the receiver will get the idea, okay, he will get the idea that what it is all about, what this letter is all about. Okay, and this is what about domestic violence in Jammu. You can write it here, increasing number of domestic violence in Jammu. That is also correct. Okay, then after leaving a gap of one line again, salutation. Okay, fifth point, salutation, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, now after sir, you don't have to write or use comma here. And if you write comma here, there is no issue with that. You can write comma, you can have it with comma or without comma. Okay, then we come to the body, the content of the letter. It is the content of the letter. Now you can have the view, it is written in paragraphs. This is one paragraph, this is second paragraph, this is third paragraph. Okay, now in the first paragraph, I told you while doing the format of this letter, the first thing you have to write is what the particular or a good beginning or a nice introduction. So it is written, through the column of your esteemed newspaper, I want to draw the reader's attention towards the increasing number of domestic violence cases in Jammu. Okay, this is how you have to introduce your problem. Okay, you can write through the column of your esteemed newspaper. You can write in other way also, but through the column of your esteemed newspaper, I want to draw the reader's attention towards the increasing number of domestic violence cases in Jammu. Now the problem is also stated here. The problem is what? The increasing number of domestic violence. You stated the problem also. Okay, at third place, okay, then the next sentence is what? The menace of domestic violence has totally destroyed the moral fabric of our society. Okay, there is hardly any day when we don't hear about the domestic violence cases like verbal, emotional or physical abuse. Now you have stated the problem here in this paragraph. Okay, and the next thing, what are the causes? Okay, what are the you have to what are the causes of that particular problem, or before that you have to write or you have to extend, you have to clearly mention what about what is actually the problem. Okay, the next paragraph is what? There is no single reason that leads to domestic violence. Now you are writing about the causes of domestic violence. Reason, there is no single reason that leads to domestic violence. Now the topic has changed. After mentioning the problem, you come to the causes of the problem. There is no single reason that leads to domestic violence. The economic hardships, stress, drug addiction, alcohol, the desire for a male child, and most importantly, the illegal demand of dowry are the main causes which lead to domestic violence. Now you stated the causes of this problem also. These are the causes of this problem. Okay, then the domestic violence is mostly about it is against women. Okay, now the third paragraph, what is there now? You are suggesting, you have to suggest some measures, you have to give some suggestions to your readers, to the people. The implementation of domestic violence laws, assistance to domestic violence organization in their efforts to raise awareness in the community, and using personal connection to start a grassroots campaign can help to curb the violence. Now you have suggested the measures, that how could it be curbed, how could it be controlled. What? Assistance to domestic violence organizers. You have to assist them, you have to help them in their efforts of awareing the community. Okay, you have to use personal connections to start some grassroots campaign yourself. Okay, these things can help in curbing this problem. And then you have to conclude, you have to give, you have to appeal the people, and then you have to have what you have to request to the editor. I hope my letter would get enough space in your newspaper. Now this is the request to editor, and before that you can write, you can appeal to the reader. And how is appeal written, or how can you appeal to the people? You can appeal the people like, this is the responsibility of the people, or this is the responsibility of, you can add one more sentence here, okay, before this particular sentence. Before this particular sentence you can add one sentence here, what this is the responsibility of everybody should feel it their own responsibility to aware the people, or to think about the problem. Or you can write like a sentence of this kind, and then what is here, you have to request editor. What kind of request? I hope my letter would get enough space in your newspaper. Okay, it is all about the publication of this letter. Okay, you're requesting the editor to have this letter in your newspaper because he wants to aware the people. And after that, at the end, leaving a gap of 2 lines, you write subscription here, yours faithfully. Now sometimes how do we write it? Yours, we put a comma before s, apostrophe here, but that is a wrong way. Apostrophe is not put here. Okay, this is a pronoun. Apostrophe is not put here. You have to write without apostrophe, yours faithfully. Again, no comma, no full stop here. Okay, you can write it other way also. You can write faithfully yours, faithfully yours. That is also a right way. And then in the next line you have to write your name, and in the question your name was stated that you are Raj. You are Raj. You can write here Raj. When the name is stated in newspaper, you can write that particular name. Okay, if you're Raj, you have to write Raj. And if no name is suggested in your question paper, then you have to write ABC. Okay, then you can write your designation here also. Okay, your designation can also be written here. Okay, now this was all about this particular letter, a letter to a letter to the editor of newspaper. Okay, we followed the format. Okay, we followed almost everything is clear. One more thing, you have to use formal language while writing a formal letter. Now this was all about how to write a letter to editor. Thank you very much.